5.4, I'm sorry, 3.4. 3.4, number 24 in the book, number 12 online. Is this a test question? Oh yeah, this is a test question. Why would I put this on a test? Anybody have any idea why I would pick this one for a test?
Because most of us would skip it.
Exactly, because most of you are scared of it. Why are you scared of it? Okay, so two-thirds of y'all who are really scared of it are not going to say a word.
It's because of e to the x.
E to the x, that scares you to death. And all you got to do is the derivative of e to the x is e to the x. So it looks like we're going to be doing the product rule. So y'all go ahead and write it down. F of x is equal to e to the x times 2x squared minus 4x plus 4. Now you could distribute that e to the x, but it's not going to help you. So the algebra, doing the algebra first here doesn't really help you. Somebody needs to write that in red in your notes, because it's not going to help you to do the algebra first. So I'm going to go out here. Doing algebra first does not help. Okay, so distributing that e to the x is not going to help you at all. It's going to make it more complicated, because then you'd have to do the product rule for two of your terms. So what are you left to do? The calculus. So first, f prime of x is equal to the first times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first. Okay, there's your product rule. So f prime of x is equal e to the x. And somebody tell me the derivative of 2x squared minus 4x plus 4.
4x minus 4.
4x minus 4. Good job. Plus the second times the derivative of the first, and the derivative of e to the x is e to the x. E to the x. E to the x. Y'all are the type of people that will go out on a date and just stare at each other, aren't you? Yep.
It's the perfect date.
Yeah. F prime of x is equal to e to the x times, I'm going to write everything in black now, 4x minus 4 plus e to the x 2x minus 4x plus 4. Now you could factor out e to the x. And get 4x minus 4 times 2x minus 4x plus 4. And one of those two are your answers.
Shouldn't that be 2x squared?
Thank you. You could distribute this and maybe you could find some combined like terms, 4x e to the x, and this negative 4x e to the x. You may be able to cancel some terms. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to distribute this just to see what happens, okay? Let's see, 4x e to the x minus 4e to the x plus 8x squared e to the x minus 4x e to the x. Yeah, you will get something to cancel. 4 e to the x. And what cancels? 4x e to the x, 4e to the x. So your answer is basically, if they simplified it, I don't know, this looked like a setup question. That's the final answer. So the derivative of e to the x times all this trash is 8x squared e to the x. Now I'm going to take my yellow marker, and what am I going to do? I'm going to highlight this right here. What does that yellow highlight represent?
Calculus.
And the rest of the problem is what? Algebra. Now, I know y'all get tired of hearing me saying that, and I really don't care. But the reason I keep saying it is because I'm trying to, get it across to you that you don't fail calculus because of the calculus. You fail calculus because you suck at algebra. So let's see what they want. Yep, they do. They want the setup, and then they want the answer. So I just showed you the setup. There's the setup. First times the derivative of the second plus second times the derivative of the first. Now they did it a little bit different way, but it's the same thing. And right here should be 8x shift up squared e to the x. And you should feel good about yourself. Oh no, they might not want you to, they might just want you to write the whole thing. Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know where you got that 8 from. I got 2x squared e to the x.
Okay, then why didn't you say something at that time?
I don't know. I thought I messed up.
Okay, I don't know where I got that either. Oh, I don't know where I got that from.
You probably
I was doing
multiplied
stuff in my
before.
head. Hell, I don't know. That's supposed to be 2. I don't know. I have no idea where that 8 came from. Thank you, Mr. Lowry.
Yeah.
Thank you for communicating, but I'm going to fuss at you. Next time, say it. I don't care
Yeah, I
if you
will.
think you're right or wrong. Say
Yeah.
it, please.
Yeah, I just thought I messed up that time, but I will next time.
And I did. I have no idea. I guess dealing with all these 2s and 4s, I guess I just decided to make that an 8. I don't know. I don't know where I got that from. I suck. All right. That's a good test question. I like that question. The reason I like that question is not to scare you because of the e to the x. The reason I like that question is because it's got a little bit of calculus and a little bit of algebra. Okay. Good question, whoever sent it. That's a good test question. Except for me dealing with 2s and 4s and getting 8. All right, next question. 3.4, 37 in the book, number 15 online. And this is e to the x, I believe. Another e to the x. Yep. Quotient rule. F of x is equal to e to the x over 5x squared plus 7. All right, I want y'all to actually start the quotient rule. And the quotient rule says denominator times numerator prime minus the numerator times denominator prime over denominator squared. All right, give you a couple of minutes. I filled up my truck yesterday, not filled it up, but $3 a gallon. I think virtual classes are going to get a little more popular. Don't y'all?
Hybrid classes, maybe.
20, so.
$3 a gallon. And only, what, 6-8 months ago, it was $1.79, $1.89. Oh, that's because we were pumping it from Alaska. Yeah, that's why. We were making our own, we were doing our own OIL reserves. That's what we were doing. Much better to pay other people like Ukraine and China. Much better. Gotta love those politicians making that money. Shut up, Hubert. Shut up. F prime of x is equal to denominator times numerator prime minus the numerator times denominator prime. All over the denominator squared. It's supposed to be purple, but you can hardly tell between the black and the purple, so I'm not going to use that unless black runs out. All right, so here we go. F prime of x is equal to 5x plus 7. And the derivative of e to the x is e to the x minus e to the x times 10x over, I'm going to use a different color besides purple, 5x squared plus 7. And notice I didn't do anything with the denominator because we really could care less about the denominator. We want to focus on what? The numerator. Now, could you factor out an e to the x? Yes. You also may be able to take out, no, you can't because of the minus. I'm trying to think of anything. You could distribute that 10x. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to turn everything black now because we did the derivative. So we've got nothing but algebra. F prime of x is equal to e to the x. I'm going to factor that out. And that leaves me with 5x squared plus 7 times e to the x. I'm sorry, 10x all over 5x squared plus 7. You can cancel out one of these. And that's going to leave to the first power. And f prime of x is equal to 10x e to the x over 5x squared plus 7. Okay? And hopefully that's what they want. I don't know if they want this. I mean, this right here, or if they want this one. Let's see what they want for an answer. Because I'm not going to type all that in. I'm just going to put a 3 there. And that's how they show you the quotient rule right there. E to the x, 5x squared. Okay, they distributed the 10x is what they did. And you could do that also. They went right here. And they did e to the x, e to the x, and then they put that, multiplied that in there. That would be 5x squared, and then plus 10x plus 7 over 5x squared plus 7 quantity squared. So you could do that also. Depends on which one they want. Okay? Another good test question. It's kind of cumbersome, but it's a good test question. Next. 3.4, 41 in the book. And number 17 online. And find the derivative of the following function. Y is equal to 5x to the fourth minus 14x minus 6x to the negative 2. What did I do? What did I do there? What did I do different from the problem? What did I do?
You brought the x squared up and made it a
I
negative.
rewrote. Remember, when you're dealing with a fraction like that or a radical, you want to rewrite. I like this as a test question because it's real short and sweet. Power rule. Power rule. 4 times 5, x to the 4 minus 1, minus 1 times 14, x to the 0, minus, well, that's going to be negative 2, and that's going to be a negative 2 times 6, x to the negative 3. I'll check my math, and this is y prime. And y prime is equal to 20 x to the third minus 14 x to the 0. Be careful here. You got negative and a negative 12. That's a positive 12 x to the negative 3. So your final answer is y prime is equal to 20x cubed minus 14 plus 12 over x cubed. Okay? And since you're not multiplying any of these, you can't cancel the x cubes. Okay? Now, if you got a common denominator, you could do that. And that would be x to the 6th over x cubed minus 14x cubed over x cubed. And it wouldn't really do anything. It'd just make this 20 over x cubed. And this x cubed will be canceled. So it's really not going to help you. And 3. $20x cubed minus 14 plus 12x to the negative 3. So they want this one. So they want this one. I'd take either on the test. That's a good test question. That's short and sweet. I like that one. Next question. 3.4, 56/21. 3.4, 56 in the book. Number 21 online. Excuse me. Oh yeah, this is a test question because y'all quit this one before you even wrote it down. Why would y'all quit this one?
Square roots.
Just too much writing. Yep. Square root of x minus square root of 7. Now, I'm not telling you what to do on this problem, but you might want to go over to the side and go ahead and write down the derivative of the numerator and the denominator. With this being so yucky, you might want to do that before you even start. So, what is the derivative, d dx, of x minus 7? Somebody tell me what the derivative of x
1.
minus 7 is.
1.
1. So the numerator, the derivative of the numerator is 1. The derivative of the denominator, be careful here, because on a test, y'all screw this up. So I want you to be very, very, very careful. I'm hunting rabbits. And I bet none of y'all know where that comes from, right? Be very, very
Yeah, the
quiet.
Looney Tunes.
I'm hunting rabbits. Elmer Fudd. They've had to ban Elmer Fudd because he carries a gun. So they took him off cartoons. United States of Snowflakes and Buttercups. Okay, somebody tell me what the derivative of the square root of x minus 7 comes out to be. Be
X
careful.
to the negative 1/2.
1/2 what? Or 1 over 2 square root of x, right? Let's do it. Why am I not worried about the 7? Somebody tell me why I'm not worried about the square root of 7.
It becomes 0.
It's a number. So the derivative of a number is what? 0. So that goes out. This is x to the 1/2. So I'm going to take the derivative of 1/2. So that's going to be 1/2 x to the negative 1/2. And that's 1 over 2 square root of x. You see why I told you to be careful? Because that looks nothing like this. So the derivative of the denominator, numerator prime is equal to 1. Denominator prime is equal to 1 over 2 square root of x. Now, since I've done this little bit over to the side now do the problem. And I bet you $1 it'll make better sense. So y prime is equal to denominator times numerator prime minus the numerator times denominator prime over denominator squared. All right, get to it. All right, so denominator. Denominator is the square root of x minus square root of 7 times numerator prime. Numerator prime is what? 1 minus, and yes, I will add this in red until the day that I die because I'm not going to mess my problem up by forgetting that negative. Times the numerator, which is x minus 7, times denominator prime. All over denominator squared. And I'm just going to focus on the numerator. So we've done the calculus, so all we got to do now is the algebra. So y prime is equal to the square root of x minus the square root of 7. I'm looking to see if anything's going to cancel. It doesn't look like there is anything going to cancel, but I would probably distribute this. I don't know if they want to or not, but this actually could be the answer without that 1 there. So I'm just going to kind of mark that 1 out. This could be your answer, but I'm going to go ahead and distribute this negative 1 over 2 square root of x. I don't know if they're going to do that or not, but I'm going to do it. So that would be negative x over 2 square root of x. Negative times a positive, negative is a positive, 7 over 2 square root of x. All over square root of x minus square root of 7 over 2. Now, I don't see anything that cancels. So I'm going to say that these two could possibly be your answers. They might have this out front of this. I don't see anything canceling. So let's just see what their answer, how far they took it. And I'm going to just type in a 3, well, just hit answer. And hit answer. Whoa, they went a whole lot further. Wow. Well, I don't know. Let's see what they did. Let's see, we could do the shortcut number, we could do shortcut number 2 on the bottom here, which would be, let's see, I'm going to put y prime is equal to the square root of x minus square root of 7 minus x over 2 square root of x plus 7 over 2 square root of x. And I'm going to put that over square root of x minus square root of 7 squared, and that's shortcut number 2. So that's going to be y prime is equal to, I'll put that's going to be square root of x quantity squared minus 2 times the square root of x times square root of 7 plus square root of 7 quantity squared. And that's going to be over square root of x minus square root of 7 minus x over 2 square root of x plus 7 over 2 square root of x. I think we're going to get a common denominator up here, and that's where everything's going to be canceling. So y prime is equal to, I'm going to do, I don't know, yeah, there's nothing here. I'm thinking out loud. So I'm going to rewrite this. Square root of x minus square root of 7 minus x over 2 square root of x plus 7 over 2 square root of x over, this goes out, that square root takes out that square right here, and that's going to be x minus 2, square root of 7 times square root of x is square root of 7x, so that's going to be 2 square root of 7x plus 49. I'm sorry, square root of 49, which is equal to 7. So that will be y is equal to the square root of x minus square root of 7 minus x over 2 square root of x plus 7 over 2 square root of x all over x minus 2 square root of 7x plus 7. And I'm not seeing it. We could get a common denominator of 2 square root of x up here. I'm trying to figure out how we can get rid of some of this stuff. Anybody got any suggestions? I don't want to go through
When
and
the
get a
top
common
part
denominator. What?
When the top part cancel out,
The top 4?
where it says x over 2 square root of x, when that cancel out, that way you're just left with negative x plus 7.
No, that don't cancel. These don't cancel. I'm looking at the very beginning right here. I'm looking to see right here. I'm not seeing it. They must have done, I'm thinking they got 2 square root of x right here. Hold on a second. I'm going to go out here and I'm going to get a common denominator of 2 square root of x, 2 square root of x, 2 square root of x, 2 square root of x. That's a plus, that's a minus, that's a minus, and a plus. I'm just thinking out loud here. And this is a 1, and this is a 1. So that would be 2 square root of x times square root of x is 2x. 2 square root of x times 7 is 2 square root of 7x. And this would still be x, and this would still be 7 over, and I believe I got that 2 would cancel. I'm still trying to see where they actually. So this would be 2x minus 2 square root of 7x minus x plus 7 all over 2 square root of x, and divided by, let's see, that's over 1, multiplied by 1 over x minus 2 square root of 7x plus 7. And that's not going to help us at all. They got me on this one. I have to see. Let me see what they're doing on the, help me solve this and see if it'll give me some kind of idea on how far, because I have no idea what they did. And we got all that, we got all that, we got all that. We did that. We did this first times the derivative of the second, denominator times numerator prime minus numerator times denominator prime over denominator squared. We did that. And we distributed that 2 square root of x. We did that. And we did the second shortcut right there. So we've done everything. So right now, this is where we're fixing to see what they did. Okay, they didn't do anything to the bottom. And it looks like to me, okay, now somebody to take a look at that numerator because I'm looking at it. And if you distribute that negative, you're going to get a negative square root of x over 2 plus 11 over 2 square root of x. And that's where they're doing. Okay, let me see where ours is. Right here, square root of x. I did that. Right here, that negative and that negative is negative x over 2 square root of x right there minus 11 over 2 square root of x. We did that. And then distribute that negative. And I did that. But they're canceling something here because there's 4 terms right there. X minus 2, the 11, and somehow the square root of x gets canceled. I don't know how they're doing that. Oh, I know how they're doing it. Getting a common denominator. 2 minus 1 is 1. That's where they're doing it. So on our problem, right here, let me see if I can salvage this. Right here, I want everybody to write this down right here. Write this down right here. I'm going to put a yellow. We're going to take off from here. I want everybody to write that on a separate sheet of paper and just kind of, we're not going to do this right here. Even though I did that.
We can't see your screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Right here, I want you to circle this and take it to another page. Now, we did do everything right here, but there's something we're not doing. I don't know. I've got to figure it out because ours is different. Go ahead and write that down because we're going to start from there. And I got to figure this out because it's driving me crazy. Let me go. They distributing right here. And see, I don't have the square root of x over 2. I don't have that. I have x. See, I'm confused on how they got that square root there. See here? There is no, they rationalized the denominator right there. They rationalized the denominator right there is what they did. And they only did it with this one. They didn't do it with the 11. They did it with this one. That was sneaky. Okay, I know what they're doing now. All right, so we've got, I think I see what they're doing. All right, we've got the square root y prime is equal to the square root of x minus 7. And then negative brackets x minus 7 times 1 over 2 square root of x. And all that over the square root of x minus the square root of 7 quantity squared. All right, what they're doing here is they are distributing this right here and then distributing that negative. We did it all at one time, but in the middle of that, they rationalized this denominator with just this term. They didn't do it with this term. They only did it right here. I wouldn't have called it, and I doubt very seriously y'all would have called it. So the square root of x minus 7 minus, and that's going to be x over 2 square root of x minus 7 over 2 square root of x. And we did this, except we distributed a negative right here. But right here, they decided with this one right here to rationalize the denominator, which that's why I said it was sneaky. So I'm going to multiply by the square root of x over the square root of x right here. And that'll give me, and all that over square root of x minus square root of 7 quantity squared. And y prime is equal to the square root of x minus 7 minus, and I'm going to leave it in brackets so we can, that's going to be x times the square root of x over 2 square root of x is x minus 7 over 2 square root of x. And y'all see those x's cancel. And now you can rewrite it as all over square root of x minus square root of 7 quantity squared. And that is the square root of x over 2. And you can change this to 2 over the square root, 2 square root of 2 over 2, like that. And 2 minus 1 is square root of x over 2. And that's where they got, and when you trickle that down, you get y prime is equal to negative 7 minus 2 minus 1 is square root of x over 2 minus, this will be a plus 7 over 2 square root of x, all divided by the square root of x minus the square root of 7 quantity squared. And that's what they did right here. Right? In fact, you can't even see it, but right here, that's where they did it, and then they combined it with this guy to get that. And then that just came down, and that just came down. So that's kind of sneaky. They kind of did this in 2 steps and left it out. And then we've got the same thing they've got. I'm going to write it down so you can see the difference, or see that we've got just about the same thing they've got. We've got y prime is equal to -7 minus the square root of x over 2 plus 7 over 2 square root of x over, and we went ahead and did the FOIL method, or the shortcut. We got x minus 2 square root of 7x plus 7. So we got very similar to what they have, except the numbers are different. And they just, after that, what the heck did they do there? They're leaving out a step there too. Okay, guys, I have no idea what they're doing there. They skipped several steps there, and I'm trying to confuse them. I'll work some more on this one. I'll work on it and try to figure it out. But right now, we're wasting time. I need to go on to the next problem. Anybody got any suggestion? Because they've cut out 2 or 3 steps right there. I'm looking. No, I don't see. And then they got 2 square root of x. They look like they factored. It looks like they factored 2 square root of x. Good gosh. 2 square root of x. Y'all just bear with me a second. Did they factor out a 2 square root of x? That's what they did. They factored out a 2 square root of x out of the bottom. That's exactly what they did. So I'm going to let y'all work on that for homework, because I'm not going to cover that right now. But right here, you want to factor out 2 square root of x from the denominator. So that means you got to divide pretty much everything by 2 square root of x. And that will lead you to basically, see, 7 divided by the 2 square root of x. When you factor out something, you divide. So it's going to look like this. I'll just go ahead and do it. I'll set it up. Y prime is equal to -7 minus the square root of x over 2 plus 7 over 2 square root of x. All over, and I'm going to write x minus 2 square root of 7x plus 7. And when I factor out a 2 square root of x, that's basically I'm dividing each one by 2 square root of x. Because I'm factoring it out. And when I factor it out, it's going to be sitting out here like this. And what I do is I actually, and when I factor, I actually do what? I divide, don't I? And you see there is the 7, see the 7 2 square root of x over 7 2 square root of x? and you do some canceling, and eventually you're going to get that -7. See that right there? That's going to cancel and give you the -7. And then this right here is going to work its way out to there, this right here, and you basically cancel it out. That's a mess. That part I would not put on a test. I felt sure they were going to stop. I felt sure they were going to stop right here or right there. But that's a mess. Okay, I hope I didn't lose half of you. Y'all still there? Y'all still awake?
Why you?
3.4, 7.8, 3.4, 78/27. And I only got like 5 minutes before y'all start convulsing. Okay, I have no idea. I've got to figure this out. I've never seen this question before in my life. Use the table to the right to find the given derivative. I have no idea how to do this. I've never seen derivatives in a table before. Has any of y'all ever seen a question like this?
It's
before?
like you plug in 1 to that x and then times f of x, and then you like do the product rule with that. So it'd be like 1 times the derivative of 1.
The derivative of 1 is 0. So
no, you get it from that table up there, right? Like, see it?
I'm looking. Hold on a minute. F prime of x. Okay. The derivative of x times f of x. All right. So we're taking x times f of x. That's basically what they want us to do. Derivative of x times f of x. And x is equal to 1. So x is equal to 1 gives us f of x is equal to 2, and f prime of x is equal to 4. So f of x is equal to 2. I'm sorry, I don't get it. Let me see. First times derivative of the second plus the second times derivative of the first. Apply the product rule. First times derivative of the second plus the second. All right, I'll get back with you on this one. All right, let's go ahead and call it a day. I'm going to have to figure that out. I've never seen that question before in my life. Has anybody else seen it? I ain't never seen a question where derivatives in a table. I'm gonna have to research this one. All right, that must be a new problem because I've never seen it before. All right, so we didn't get the chain rule. We didn't get to work on any chain rules. And let's see, what time's class start? Because y'all go into convulsions here in a second. I only got like 3 minutes. So let's end with one chain rule problem. And let's go with, I don't know if did we do e to the x or e to the -4x? Did we do that? Yes or no? Did we do any chain rule?
No.
No.
We did not. Okay, the chain rule, and I'm just doing this to give you a little bit of, the chain rule is the power rule.
Or yeah, we went over how to do it yesterday.
Okay, with the derivative of what's inside. And I told y'all that. And we didn't do any problems.
You showed us like a quick example.
Okay, so let's do another one. Let's do f of x is equal to 4 times 2x minus 7 to the negative third power. And that is a chain rule problem. How do you know? Because you have parentheses. Parentheses sometimes gives the problem away as, okay, guys, you might want to do the chain rule here. And the chain rule says power rule. So I'm going to do the power. So that's going to be f prime of x. That'd be a negative 3 times 4. Don't forget to rewrite your parentheses. 2x plus minus 7 to the negative 3 minus 1. And then you have to take the derivative of what's inside the parentheses. So I'm going to go out here and I'm going to say 2x minus 7 prime. Because I have to take the derivative of what's in the parentheses and put it back in the problem. So this one would be f prime of x is equal to negative 12 times 2x minus 7 to the negative fourth power. And then what is the derivative of 2x minus 7?
2.
And you'll take that 2 and multiply it by that 12. And your final answer, you have two ways to write your final answer. F prime of x is equal to negative 24, 2x minus 7 to the negative fourth power, or negative 24 over 2x minus 7 to the positive fourth power. Okay, and I got 1 minute left, so I want to show you one more problem. And it's real simple, but you need to look at it and let it soak. F of x is equal to negative 3 e to the negative 4x power. And I'm going to take my little handy dandy pink and I'm going to put parentheses around that 4x because you've got to use the chain rule here. Okay, so that means I've got to, now, the derivative of e to the x, f of x is equal to e to the x. F prime of x is equal to e to the x. So you don't use the power rule or anything to take the derivative of e to the x. You just rewrite it. So f prime of x is equal to negative 3 e to the negative 4x. And what's inside the parentheses? Negative 4x. So I'm going to find the derivative of what's inside. And what is the derivative of negative 4x?
Negative 4.
And I'm going to put that negative 4 right here with this negative 3 e to the negative 4x. And our final answer is 12 e to the negative 4x. Now you might want to write that one down and let it soak because that is a test question.
Would you not move that e to the negative 4x to the bottom? Or you just leave it like that?
You could, yeah, you could. I'm not gonna, yeah. That's just I'm kind of racked for time, so I just left it right there. Yes, you could bring that down. It'd be 12 over e to the 4x. All right, let me shut her down before some of y'all self-combust. Let me turn off the recorder. And I only got 2 or 3